Hello and welcome to So Farscape,
a fun-filled Farscape fancast by a fervent fan
and a frankly fascinated first-timer.
I'm Kaki.
I'm Kay.
And this is the story So Farscape. This episode... Okay, shush, phone, be quiet. No, I know you have something to say, but you're not going to say... You don't have to say that until late. Oh my god, my phone
What are you doing?
Okay, but I had a little thing prepared for next... I'll figure it out. Okay, there was... Okay, we're going to have a clip later on. This is a spoiler. We're going to have a little clip later on, but apparently my phone got really... It's all just chaos today, isn't it?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for joining us for episode 407, John Quixote.
Yes. I think this is quite appropriate to be the one where I just completely lose my shit at the beginning and nothing quite seems to go right.
Fair, that makes sense,
or is it all a plan?
Is it all a plan? Well, I have my doubts.
You know me quite well, so it is quite fair. Yes, we're doing season 4, episode 7, John Quixote.
Yes.
And, okay, so... When I arrived here for the recording,
yes,
your boyfriend was still here, and I was very excited, but unfortunately...
No, he had to go and pick up a kitchen machine.
I was heartbroken that he sort of broke the spell of only watching, like, the Soup's Weird Ones.
Yes. Okay, well, this is it's not Soup's Weird Ones, but yeah... I mean, I think the first thing I said is like, oh, it's going to be one of those episodes as soon as the...
Yeah, at which point did you say that?
I think we started it as soon as the Fairy Tale castle came into view or something.
Yeah, that would be it.
I think that's right.
Hey, let's see what our beloved listeners have sent in, because obviously this was quite a popular episode when it came out.
I can well imagine. Video games, hell yeah, but when the reality in virtual reality gets too realistic, problems occur. Can they find the green door? And we find out that lifts have strong desire to go sideways. Thank you, Going Metal 799.
Trapped in a VR game, not everything is as it appears. King Arthur and Patsy, yes, I noticed that as well, must seek help from some mostly familiar faces to kiss the princess and escape. But beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Down is up is down, follow the path to Fairie Town. Thank you, Marky See.
Yeah, so that's that whole Fairy Town thing, that didn't really come back, did it?
Well, oh yes, we're jumping into the episode.
Sorry.
So let me tell you a bit about the production history of this episode.
Okay.
So first of all, pretty significantly, this was written by Ben Browder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. His second episode after Green-Eyed Monster, where he had, in the same way that with Green-Eyed Monster, he had the mandate to get Aaron and John together. Now he had the mandate to get them apart.
Okay.
But at the time of writing, they weren't sure whether this was going to be episode 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8 of the fourth season yet. So they weren't sure whether this was going to happen before Aaron arrived back on Moya.
Ah, okay.
Right? That was all still being pieced together as the series was being written. So it kind of had to work in all these circumstances. And unfortunately, that wound up meaning that at the time that this was scheduled for filming, the set department was largely unavailable, or at least the set department was available, but stages weren't available. So no new sets could be built.
Yes.
And so, yeah, stuff like... There probably were versions of the script with Fairy Town in it, but there just wasn't any opportunity to do that.
To build that, yes.
Like, the main set where everything takes place, that sort of boudoir, is from, actually a few episodes ago, from What Was Lost. That was what Grazer used as her boudoir.
And they just put Christmas baubles on the bed frame. What was the set with the checker room floor? The checkerboard floor?
That was the same one.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just the first time you see it, it's got a table on it.
Yeah.
And then Dargo's there.
Yeah.
Right?
And then the second time Dargo's still there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's also used as the bedroom for the princess and the ogre.
Oh,
and
okay.
You can tell because it has these sort of reverse ziggurat stepstone diagonal ceilings.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't really looking at the ceiling, so that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, cool.
And
also the Sydney Olympic Park parking garage.
Whoa!
In beautiful Sydney, Australia, which is where Farscape is filmed.
Whoa! Kay, how did you pull that? No, but how do you remember that?
Well, they've used it twice before now, or at least once before, but it's a memorable episode.
Yes, yeah, that's very good. That was Won't Get Fooled Again.
Yeah.
Also featuring Lani Tupu in an unusual role.
And I mean,
I'm just blown away. Did you remember that it's Olympic Park, Olympic Stadium? This is amazing. Oh, well, I can just cross that one off from my notes.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, weird facts sometimes cling around in my head, like taking up space rent-free, you know.
Very, very impressive. What's your boyfriend's phone number?
I don't know anybody's phone number.
I know.
I mean, I used to know everybody's phone number. Now I know two. My parents' phone number and my own.
Yeah, that's about it. Actually, I know two as well. My phone number and my last phone number.
Well, I've had this phone number for like 20 years at this point, so no.
So have I.
Okay, wow. I mean, now I'm impressed.
So this was... I mean, for a lot of the fans, this was a nostalgic tour de force. Like, even though Jewel had only departed the series for a few episodes now.
Yes.
Because Tammy McIntosh landed a role starring in All Saints, a hospital drama.
Okay. And she was like, oh, that's better than this, or this is going to like run its end, or...
Well,
I guess it's steadier work, better pay.
I think she'd been guest cast most of the season. I mean, a young actor in their prime... They seize the opportunities that they can get.
Of course. I'm not blaming anybody or like holding it against her. It's just I was just wondering what the motivation was. I mean, I guess hospital series in Australia. It's
maybe career-wise that was more what she was going for. Although I can't imagine that on All Saints they gave her as much opportunity to use her gymnastics as she had on Farscape.
No, probably not. No,
but she loved coming back and playing with the kids again.
So yes, it opens up with Sikozu, who's taken up cigarette sales.
Yes, she does look like the sort of 1920s cigarette girl.
Who makes Scorpius an offer to play John's chess game.
Yes.
Which he apparently has picked up rather quickly.
Do you know how to play?
Chiana, in the meantime, is also playing games because she scored some like weird... I thought it was like a Rigel puppet or something that she had, but with little lights in it. But apparently it's, oh no, this one's porn, and and then there's a game that she gets to play for a moment. She grabs it and like completely zonks out while John is like reminiscing about Aaron.
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, come on, you got to play.
Crichton, where are you?
You've got to see this. Tell him about Scorpius.
No, not yet.
Crichton, we're having a small problem with Scorpius.
You've got to try this one.
Hang on a sec.
And he's mid-com with Dargo, who says that there's a problem with Scorpius.
Yes.
You know, because Scorpius has said to Sikozu, if you open this door...
We could play properly. I mean, she is like, we definitely know that she's got a bit of a lady boner for Scorpius, so...
Oh, yeah, she's got good taste.
And then, yes, it drops right into a scene which I think is the same set as the underground tunnels on the archaeological planet.
Arnesque, yes.
Yes.
I think you're right. I mean, I'm not entirely sure because it's also possible that those were in... I mean, that was filmed in Middlehead, and I don't know whether the sets were built there or whether they just had bits of the hallway. I don't know entirely, but it's supposed to stand in for Scorpius's Gamma base.
Oh, yes, that makes sense, yes. We see our PK Tech girl there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blink and you'll miss her.
Yeah, we get a reprise. And then Scorpius shows up going like, ah. And, of course, right at the last moment, in comes... Stark. Yes. Who looks very weird with hair.
Yeah.
I'm like, is that the same actor? And it's just like...
I had the same thing. I mean, obviously not the second time around, now that I've... But yeah, I had the same thing. It was so weird seeing him with his hair on, and he's carrying Dargo's Mr. Sparky.
Oh, that's it, yes.
Yeah.
The big multi-barrel boom gun.
And then he looks at Crichton, and Crichton looks at him, and we get a few shots with a digital video camera with a very wide lens.
There's a lot of that.
Handheld. It's very... sort of 90s gonzo. It's kind of confusing. And we're zapped into...
Well, this is
weird.
not right.
A level from Spyro the Dragon.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
So Tim Ferrier was inspired by...
Inspired.
What? Okay. It's going to be one of those episodes.
Yes, it is.
By the kind of games that John would have played in his youth.
Okay, yeah.
So working from there, like... Because he'd bring that into the game world with him. It would be drawn from him. So, yeah, memories of Spyro the Dragon. It also had this very cartoony, 3D kind of look. So these...
My first thought was Toontown in Disneyland. You know, that's the first... that's the first association level that I got. I mean, it's also that, very bright primary colors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A big tower, castle with
It looks a bit cactusy, doesn't it?
It does a bit, yes.
When you're staring it up from below.
Or a menorah, which has a serious pruning.
Wow. Let's just talk about their costumes, because I love these outfits.
Well, I'm sure there's some really good technobabble.
You know what? Screw the explanation.
So, yes, he looks like he's part of the city guard, like metal.
Yeah, he looks like he's from the watch from Discworld,
yes, exactly.
right?
It's like he's cosplaying a watchman. He's got a shield, which he immediately ditches, but he keeps the sword. So, yes, Chana, like, what's she wearing? It's almost like a little pirateer outfit, cabin boy outfit.
That's good.
That's kind of the vibe I'm getting off it, with a floppy hat.
Yeah, one of those, like, sock hats that one wears to bed. It's like a sleep helmet.
It's a windsock, but in hat form.
Yeah, and she's got, like, long sleeves and gloves on because, more behind-the-scenes stuff.
She was touching everything again.
Well, she had a lot to do this episode.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, as he was writing in weekends and evenings and lunch breaks, Ben Browder went around to all of his crewmates to sort of poll them and, like, ask them what they wanted in an episode like this. And
Gigi Edgerly had been saying that she wanted to do some physical fighting. She wanted to play with some swords. She wanted to be involved in a story from beginning to end.
Okay.
And so I took her at face value and said, okay, well, I'm going to put you in this story, and you're going to be there the whole way along. Are you cool with that? You're going to be in makeup a lot.
That's a good point, yeah.
because normally I don't think that she'd work the full schedule that the other actors would.
No, I mean, like, what did she say? It took like 3 or 4 hours of makeup to get her. To get her done. And of course, if you do it like this, then she only needs the face.
Yeah. And she could do more physical stuff without, rubbing off on everything all the time.
Yes. Well, very good point.
Or when she gets too sweaty, as she talked about once before, that she looks like a melting ice cream.
So, yes, at the top of the tower, we hear the call of the princess, which is a wonderfully Goldie-locked Aaron.
Help!
Isn't she amazing?
Yes. Who has the most terrible Southern Belle Australian accent that you can imagine.
Would you let the master know that we have a gentleman caller?
She kept that secret from everyone except for the director until they got on the set, and then she did it in front of Ben Browder, and he lost it. He absolutely lost it, and she knew she nailed it.
Yeah.
They were so scared about what I was going to do with the princess. I was like, I've shown it to Ben. I've shown it to Tony. They like it. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I loved it. The second she said it, I loved it.
And it was so nice to see you laughing. We get to a point a little bit later on where you couldn't actually keep a straight face while I was on camera and you were doing offlines for me. And it was just fantastic to see you corpsing.
I wanted to write you a comedic piece. I wanted to write something so you could show that you show how brilliantly you do comedy. And I think you've achieved it beautifully. It's just dead funny.
I actually got the princess voice from playing around with my makeup artist, Troy. He always used to do silly voices for me. And one day I just decided that I wanted to do a combination of the Princess Bride, inconceivable. And I wanted to do a bit of Mike Tyson in the South in a princess's body.
That's kind of describes it kind of well, yes. So, let's have a little discussion about, like, what's going on here.
Yeah.
And Chana's like, oh, yeah, well, this is like the beginning, and we have to, like, go through the game.
Yes, because normally you just say,
I want out.
That's standard override. Try again.
I want out.
But no, something has gone wrong, and they are locked in the game.
Stark is the avatar of the game who invites them in and helps sort of puzzle out what's going on. He looks for the manual. He opens a drawer, finds a goose, obviously.
Well, yes. I mean, I thought it was a great visual gag, even though I don't know what it's referring to.
He then found a golden egg afterward
yes,
as well.
Yes, no, that I did notice, yes. I mean, he does get a TV on his head first, and he's got a little antenna sticking out of his, or a bit of electronics sticking out of his skull.
Yeah, that he better just sort of leave in there because he's going to hurt himself worse. There's a Max Headroom version of him on a sideways television.
Oh, yes.
My name is John Crichton, the most notorious criminal in the known universe. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, journey to the source of evil, discover the darkness. Have a good day.
There is a little bit of discussion about Chana and I think the origin of the game, like where she got it.
Yeah, I think she just picked up a box of toys at the last Commerce Planet that they went to, because they were returning back to Moya.
Okay.
And she was going through the loot, so it seems to me that she would have bought these.
Right. Okay, so it's not like, I mean, I wasn't sure if there was like a plot arc with like this game being crafted by someone to get at them. You know, I wasn't entirely sure if that was or was not going on there.
Yes, this is a really interesting question. I want to ask, like, what were your hypotheses? So, I mean, it was sort of reminiscent of Maldus's targeted, right?
Yeah,
illusions previously.
Yeah, with the shop.
That portrait is one of me own works. Resembles you, don't you think?
And that's why I thought I'd missed a little part of discussion, I think it was during this scene, where there's a little bit of talk of what's going on with the game and about the avatar and the interactions with all the different people.
So what we get is that Stark, the actual Stark, sold like a neural scrape, like his memories, to someone called Yachty, mentioned only once.
Okay.
Who was a game designer, who apparently fashioned a game out of the memories that Stark donated.
Okay, so that was, so the thing that I missed then.
Right, and it goes really quick.
Yeah.
Like I had to really watch for it this time around.
Some questions. Who's the designer of the game?
Yoti.
Your template.
Yours truly, and an infusion of the dead John Crichton's memories.
Excuse me, you stole my memories?
Yeah.
So I suspect, this is my hypothesis now, that what we're seeing is an unfortunate interaction between Stark's unconscious resentments toward John. That was also included in the game, probably not intentionally, and that probably nobody experienced until John, the actual John, entered the game and interacted with that resentment.
That makes sense.
Right? Short-circuiting the game or bringing up aspects or levels that otherwise would... Because the game doesn't want to let him go now.
No, it tries to hold him in.
You say you were on a transport pod? Alone? Just you two? That's not very smart.
That leads me to the question, because at first I thought this was like all John productions, and you just said the same thing, because like the game, it's supposed to be based on things that John would know. So
yes,
how would that like interact with Stark? So what?
Well, Stark had memories of Talon John, of Black Shirt John.
Yeah,
he helped him cross over. Some of which were
of course, yes, that
included.
Yeah.
In fact, that was one of the brilliant clues. When no, let's go through it. I'll keep the spoiler for later. Let's go through it bit by bit, because the entire episode, the entire clue, is now given away by Stark when he reads a sonnet. Ben Browder called up Paul Goddard and told him, "Hey, I'm going to write you a sonnet." And Paul Goddard said, "Yeah, well, fine," because he didn't think that he'd be able to get that through the writer's room. You know, David Kemper would put up a fight. But no, there in the script, he had a whole fucking sonnet to read. And he did that just because he wanted to see Paul Goddard reading a sonnet, because he has this magnificent facility for taking this heightened language and just delivering it.
Okay, yeah.
In farther space beyond the knowing charts, the horrid human and his band appear, and though they play today at different parts, the core of subtle truth beneath is clear. The path of choice may draw you dark and deep, where flesh deformed doth keep the dream alive, and if the way your compass cannot keep, some pearls of wisdom to thee do I give. Your quest is for the princess fair to seek, the one a human's fleeting love did rend. Bring forth the sword and through the darkness peek. One loving kiss amends, and there's an end. And if we shades with taste do not agree, a door of green shall set your senses free.
That was great. What was that?
But so all the clues for what's going to happen are already in there. It's really quite brilliant. But because we're so overwhelmed and confused, we don't notice. So he tells our heroes, John and Chi, that the main thing is find the princess, up is down, and kiss her.
Kiss her, and if you don't want to kiss her, go through the green door.
Or something, yeah. They're also that. And then he puts on a wig and a sort of cape.
Yes.
And he vanishes.
And he vanishes, and there's a little, a grim fairy tale is what we see on the book. Not the Brothers Grimm, which I thought was a fun touch. There's a tiny little red door, they go through the door, and bam, they're in the parking garage.
Yeah! With space van. Like,
I mean, I was more thinking like the Mystery Machine.
Exactly.
But that's what it kind of looks like, but it's kind of like rocking and shaking, and like they don't know the first rule, apparently. Like if the vans are rocking, don't come a knocking. But no.
I mean, it's got these sort of neon green and orange prints on it, a handprint, like an eye in the middle of the hand, like palm readings, your fortune, and some righteous bong smoke from inside, and a big bloke.
I am Poe, Zatuzan, 10th level Delvian priest, bloodkin to the Paisa who beat Scorpy's ass.
This is director Rowan Woods.
Oh, okay.
Director of, I think, the previous and the next episode, who was told by Ben, hey, I got a role for you. All right, you're going to play Zan.
He's like, what?
Yeah. So he went from he shot this in 2 days. Before and after that, he was shooting parts of the next episode. So he had to be excused early so he could get a little bit of sleep before his 3 a.m. makeup call.
Yeah.
Then he was slammed in a van, driven across this parking lot. But he shaved his head for the role.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And this sort of harkens back. It's a fun little reference to one of the earlier treatments for Farscape when it was still called Space Chase, when the sort of mother figure of the crew would be a male Buddha-like.
Yes, I think you've talked about that at some point, yes.
Yeah.
I heard Rockney saying yesterday that originally Zen was supposed to be a man. I found that enormously interesting because I thought, okay. People in the 70s used to mistake me for a drag queen all the time.
Oh, never. I don't believe it.
Yeah, they did. Big 6 foot manly thing I am. Oh, God, I love
no, the truth is, Zan was going to be a man. He was going to be a blue sort of Buddhist sort of priest. And
too many men, though.
I'm not quite sure what advice he gives. Oh, no, he helps him get the shard out of his head, isn't he?
Yes.
He basically kicks him in the shins, knocks him out, and then pulls the shard out of the top of his head.
Yep. And then has to heal him because he's in a bad way.
Yes.
Which he does by milking his breast.
Yes.
It's milking time, baby. I'm inside Luma for the cure. Oh.
Yes. Which first time comes out with acid. And it's like, which Shana spots. And it's like, oh, well, yeah. It's very video game-esque. It's all shot like, oh, now we're here in this level. Now we have to go do something.
Yeah.
And like, oh, go try the other one. Okay, try the other one. Other one works better.
And John is brought out of it, but he's not in a very good state. And so Zan abandons them.
No, well, he starts driving off with them in the back of the van.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
And then, like, yeah.
It's a weird split screen.
Yeah, it's weird here. It's even weird later when there's a fighting scene, and it becomes really confusing, and you can't really watch anything that's going on there.
Absolutely overwhelming.
Yes. It's not just split, it's also compressed, I think. Yeah, they kind of smashed the screens together, so they didn't do a pan and scan on it. But, yeah, they roll out the back of the van goes teetering off, and there's another trail of golden coins. Which leads to the Black Knight.
Yes! Yes! None shall pass.
Yeah.
Check this out. Brave Sir Knight, I am King Arthur of Camelot. This is my loyal vassal, Patsy.
Bollocks! You're a pimped out, arrogant fleshy who wants to use my road, where none shall pass.
Right.
Rigel is like guarding the way through the parking lot.
I love his armor.
It's almost Darth Vader-esque, samurai-esque.
I was going to say
Knight.
samurai. Like that's what Darth Vader's helmet is derived from.
Yes,
but it suits him so well.
It does work.
I wonder if this is actual, like, historical Hynerian armor that maybe John or, for that matter, Stark has come across. Because
very well possible.
He looks like a brave little knight, and they go, well, he's not going to move very fast.
Yeah, we can just walk around him.
Aha! Not so fast, says Rigel.
He spins around, and I hope that's the exhaust of his throne sled.
No, it is not.
Oh.
No, this version of Rigel is farting hydrogen.
Right, so we actually get a shot of, yes, okay, fair enough. I was just like, yes, now I can see the Jeef now, and it's more than like a fraction of a second, and my God, yes.
That's no moon.
No. Okay, so a bit of quick action from Chana, who dives in and goes for an improbably long slide.
Yeah.
Stabs Rigel, causes him to explode. Boom, problem solved.
Nicely done. Like, she even uses John as a distraction. Like, tells him, we'll go this way. And nope, she's gone the other way.
Yeah. John crushes one of his answer balls. It's like he got 3 balls from Stark, which allowed him to ask 3 questions, which are not really used.
No,
it's like
they're not useful at all because Dark's face appears in the flames and tells them the same clue that they already had.
Right.
The tower's up, but up is down. Follow the path through the Fairie Town. Later.
Stark, you get your ass back here now, or I'm gonna come kick your lily white.
But they also ask stupid questions. But
yeah, because they don't know how to proceed. And
So, kicky ovary. Oh, there's a hatch here underneath here. Storm drain, stomp it, and suddenly they are down in the party room.
Yeah, with sort of ball cage hanging from the ceiling, which I'm not sure if that's Natira's ball cage that John was strapped on top of.
Uh-huh. Okay, so now that's 2 Chianas, which I thought was kind of cute.
Yeah.
And it has, of course, Jewel.
Both of whom are screaming that they are to be eaten. It's my turn, it's my turn.
Please!
Yes, and Dargo wearing a very slimming outfit, actually. Like usually what he wears makes him look bulkier. But he is cooking. There's giant lollipops all around the room. And it's the same room as the earlier scene where Stark was in. But it's just been redecorated now.
And now you can see the floor. You see all the, the checkerboard pattern. And he's sort of like a ginger witch kind of figure, right?
Something like that, yeah. Like they go like, are you the troll? It's like, oh, no, he's not the troll. He does do a little bit of ball dangling there.
Just to be clear, he does a Donkey Kong.
Well.
Right? Ball dangling means something quite different.
He dangles from the ball.
Yeah, okay. That's what a lot of people think about when they talk about ball dangling. Oh, you... So I listened to the commentary track of this episode, which had Ben Browder and Claudia Black. And Claudia Black was being a very good sort of crewmate and like constantly asking him sensible questions because he was so excited about having written this episode and wanted to tell her absolutely everything, talks over her a lot in his excitement. And so here she came to the question now. Okay, I'm very impressed with this.
Now, getting Anthony Simcoe to do comedic stuff, that's really hard. How did you do it?
What?
Yeah, that was not difficult at all.
No, I was going to say that. You had so much fun in that other episode.
Won't get fooled again.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, okay? What we need are some chains, my quota blade, just a little squirt of lecture oil, and Gianna.
Gianna.
Yeah, she wants to watch.
Oh no.
It sounds like he just loves doing that kind of thing.
It's his jam.
Yeah. So yes, it's not too hard. Like there's a little discussion about going to kiss the princess, and he's like, no, we're not interested in the princess. We just want to find a green door.
And there is one.
There's a green door. Oh, goody! Like runs over there, and just as John opens the door, Dargo tongue lashes Chiana into unconsciousness, and so it's only John who comes out of the game.
Yep, I thought this was pretty brilliantly done because he comes out of the game. And continues to talk on the comms.
Yes.
Because it's nice and quick that way.
Crichton, where the frill are you?
Just trying to get home, Annie M. Hey, you guys got a problem?
Scorpius.
Just do not tell me that he has escaped.
He has. And there's a command carrier on the way.
Now, had you figured it out at this point?
Let me check. I had... At this point, I had my initial suspicions.
Because if you look at the GIFs, there is a clue that he's still in the game.
Okay, let me have a look, see.
It's where, if you look at Dargo and Aaron, and what are they wearing?
They're wearing... I can't quite tell in the GIF.
They're wearing their Season 3 outfits.
Okay. The way Stark would have seen them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Including a sort of a ponytail wig. Aaron's got or Claudia's got what's called a 3/4 wig. So the front of her hair is her own, and then the rest is bound up. But yeah, this was kind of brilliant. And also, like, there's no Narenti, no Sikozu.
No. So this is only a really short scene because John immediately goes back into the game. To go get Chiana.
To get Chiana out.
So no, at this point, at this point I probably hadn't got it figured out yet. Like, I remember it's in the scene just before they get into into Pilot's Den. Around that time when I was just like, of course I already had suspicions, but then I was like, hang on, this is probably still in the game.
That's entirely fair, because like... This was written with the idea, like, half our audience are very genre savvy and they know this kind of gag.
Yes.
Right? Star Trek's done it. Everyone's done it.
Of course, yeah.
But the other half has never seen it. Yeah. And so he felt very, like, conscientious about it. Like, the clues have to be there, has to be on the surface, it has to be figure-outable.
Yes.
But you also have to move fast enough not give the game away.
Give them too much opportunity. So he goes back.
Finds everyone asleep. Chiana and Jewel asleep, and the way to get them out is to complete the game. So he asks for another one of his clues. Stark is under the cloche.
Yep.
I learned just from you today
that it's called a cloche.
That it's called that when you exclaim that. It's one of those metal keepy-warmy things that people put over fancy plates of food.
Yes, it's what the butler lifts away from your plate to reveal the food that's underneath.
And he's there on a nice bed of like kale and leafy greens and one of those frilly collars. From the 17th century.
I guess it's a very easy way to hide the hole that his head is poking through underneath the table.
I love this so much. And he has to go and take the elevator.
He gets, again, the same clue. Down is up is down. And in the elevator, we have another Max Headroom style himself.
Yeah, who sort of complains about being an elevator and...
Oh, this elevator sucks. My job sucks. Day after day, the same thing. Up, down. Just once it'd be nice to go sideways. Just sideways.
Like the doors being happy to be of service, except now we're talking about the temperamental elevators from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
You got it exactly right. Because the actor who played Zaphod Beeblebrox was the head of the drama school where Browder studied. And so he wanted to put a little Hitchhiker's
Guide
tribute
to the Galaxy
in there. Yeah. Oh, you are on point. I missed all this in my first watch. I was having such a good time, like reading all the behind-the-scenes stuff.
But yes, he gets asked to go where the grey girl went. Because hang on, but they say like Chiana is there.
Yes, but he thinks that's the fake Chiana.
Oh, right, that's
the
it.
fake
Yes,
Jewel
of
and
course.
fake
Yes,
Chiana.
where did Chiana go? Yes, of course. But yeah, he doesn't get to go there. He has to go fight the dragon first, which turns out to be a Scarron, I think.
In a Red Riding Hood.
Yeah.
And he has a little basket full of spare heads that the creature department had lying around.
Yes, because shortly after that, there's another discussion with the elevator, and then it's what are those fireball belts? Xiang again. And again, now he has two heads.
Yep.
And finally, he gets brought to the boudoir.
Where he finds Scorpius, and he goes,
Harvey, actually. Yes.
It is you. Well, yeah.
I'm so sorry, Mom. I didn't realize you were expecting other guests.
That's all right, Harvey.
Well, okay, so that's why that's one of the other things that like made me a little, well, not really confused, but that kind of cemented to me that like, all of this is drawn from John's memory.
Yeah.
And that's what you just told me about Stark being involved as well. Memory scraping, that makes it a little bit weirder. So I guess, yeah.
Yes.
So that's basically that's what I was thinking. Like, so does everybody see this as people they know, or does everybody else who plays this game see it as John, Aaron, Dargo, the cast?
We have no idea how the game is supposed to take place because originally the game is one of their adventures, right?
Yeah.
The Gammak base, like that's one of Stark's adventures. And I have no idea whether the normal game progression would take them to this fairy tale area or whether this is just like a deranged code muck-up.
Yeah.
You appear to have backdoored into a part of the game that, technically speaking, shouldn't even exist.
But it's really interesting to realize, like, originally the nucleus of this episode was, what do our heroes look like to the rest of the galaxy?
Yes.
What is their reputation? Because they have a reputation by now.
Yeah.
Like, we remember the cultists on that space station, they knew about Crichton.
Right, yeah, no, fair point. Crichton, yeah.
And we don't know who this Crichton is.
You know, I heard he destroyed a peacekeeper Gammak base. Murdered an entire Nabari battalion. Even laid waste to a shadow depository. I was a devil. He raped and pillaged, he popped eyeballs.
Oh, well, where do they get these stories? Let's set the facts straight.
And the thought was that their reputation probably wasn't really great, because wherever they go, there's death and destruction.
Mm-hmm.
So there was an early version of this that Ben was working on, where there was some aliens who were in a sort of Nazi-style displacement camp and sort of telling a story about the Crichton and the Moyen crew. And then we'd find John was there, and then we'd look around the room and find Aaron was there, and they would like defeat the space Nazis, and he would turn to the child who the story was being told to, tell them John Crichton was here.
Yeah.
Right? That kind of vibe. And then it evolved into this. So there is still that original nucleus. What do people think of when they think of Aaron Dargo?
That makes sense.
Did you notice how Harvey's makeup is different?
Well, he's got this weird little leaf going from his nose, almost like Pinocchio-esque. I wasn't quite sure what's going on there.
Zoom in on the Jeef with his face, because like his whole makeup is actually different.
Hang on.
He's got like a tree bark texture. He looks like a birch on his face, like he's carved out of wood. He's got these little
he is very Pinocchio. So I can see what you mean now. Like with the bark and the wood and the leaf, that would make it. I'm not a real boy. Which also makes sense considering it's Harvey,
Yeah. For a hot second there, as I was rewatching it, I thought that maybe this was the actual Harvey, but Black T's John's Harvey was already dead at the point that the communion happened. So the first time that Stark would find out about... Oh, no. He knew about Harvey already. Okay. He gave John advice about Harvey, an impudent wraith, a wasp. He's powerless.
Oh, yes.
Listen to me. The chip's out. Its tendrils are dead. The scorpion in your head is merely a remnant, an impotent wraith buzzing in your ear. You are stronger than he is. Show him.
So he did know about it.
Could have been. Oh, yes, you're right. So it could have been his knowledge of Harvey.
It could even be, Stark's memory. But we don't get to dwell on this very long because the scene is steeled.
Honey, we're out of ice.
As Lani Tupu, as the ogre shows up.
Steady on there, meat. We just finished redecorating the last bloodbath we had in here.
He's so great.
He's got some horns on his head. He's got amazing hair, makeup. They puffed his face up a little bit.
Yeah. He went in full prosthetics the first time, which he was very, very excited about, and he fucking hated it.
I mean, at first I thought it was Dargo again, but no, it took me a second to go oh, hang on, no, that's Lani Tupu.
It's a little joke.
Oh, he's so good. And I was so glad to see him on screen again.
Yes.
No, he absolutely hated this. And, he originally auditioned for Dargo. And so he went over to Anthony Simcoe afterwards, and I'm so glad
you got Dargo. Yeah. So this time they do make it to the green door with the both of them.
Yes. There's another green door, and they sort of sidestep this whole sort of ogre fight. Originally he was going to have 3-foot-long horns, like in Time Bandits. There's a figure with the horns, but then the creature shop realized that there's a bit in the script where he has to do a sword fight, and then realized that's not going to be so well.
Very difficult. Yeah.
So they gave him the horns from the space goat from Goatzilla in What Was Lost.
Yeah. But they get on board. Situation seems that Scorpius has escaped and is now controlling Moya.
Yes.
Or at least making himself a bit of a pest of himself.
Now that they've both exited the game, they return.
Rally the troops, we're coming in.
Dargo and Aaron are waiting for them in Hangar Bay. Mm-hmm. Had you figured it out at this point?
At this point, I was getting onto it. And I think the reason that what kind of triggered me on it was that the whole plot of what's going on with Scorpius at this point still feels very video game-esque. It's
right.
It's still almost like fetch quests here and go do this. Also, where did... Oh, no, we don't know about the neural net yet. I was almost how would Scorpius suddenly have gotten a neural net? Where the Frel did he get that from? Yeah, it's clearly not something that was be lying about board on Moya.
This is someone who has a gun hidden in his brain.
Fair.
Right?
But, I mean, they know about that now, and...
Well, they know about the one that he let them know about. He probably has a second backup gun in his brain. Or a second backup brain.
Also, I mean, Moya, I never really noticed the ribbing on Moya, that it kind of looks almost like hair. If you look at a hair under a microscope, you got these little scaly plates.
Sort of little, what's it called? Like the cuticles or whatever.
No, cuticles are the edges of your nails.
Yeah, it's not follicles. There is a term for
those overlapping hair scales.
That's
the only thing that I can call
this
them.
is a keratin structure.
Yeah,
all of these shots were designed to be incredibly familiar. Like when they bust into Pilot's room, because Pilot says, "Oh, Scorpius, he is here."
Feels like a trap.
Only one way to know.
it's almost shot for shot the way we weren't.
Yeah.
Down to the music, which being very similar, the way they ran in and then Pilot had DRDs shooting at them.
Right, and I know for a fact that was the first scene after I wrote down like, are they still in the game? So that's
very good.
That's the point where I went like, and then they started shooting, and then that's that later on gets confirmed. Yeah, DRDs shoot at John and Aaron because Scorpius has locked his brain to Pilot's.
Have you ever heard of a neural harness?
Your pilot's mind is now slave to my own.
Which seems like, I mean, Scorpius is a big, intelligent man, but, you know, enslaving a pilot mind?
Yeah.
That seems like a weird thing to be able to do.
I mean, we've seen him slaving other people before. He did with Grunschlick.
Yeah.
Made him bite off his own finger. He speaks Pilot.
True.
Which not a lot of people can do. But, yes, I agree. Like, we've seen the effect that it had on Aaron.
We are closer than any two others on this ship. I still carry remnants of your DNA inside of me.
It's not just intelligence, it's just an entirely different form of cognition.
Mm-hmm.
The parallel processing and multitasking that the pilot species are capable of. Like, they have multiple personalities working in concert simultaneously on different processes. It sort of reminded me on hypotheses about cephalopod cognition and how their arms are largely independent.
How they've already done what they're like. The brain only later gets to decide on whether or not the arm did the right thing, and if I want to correct that or not. The arms
exactly.
pretty much act on their own. Yeah,
and the brain is sort of like a team leader. But it's Aaron who turns on him.
Yeah.
Gasp. What did you think?
I mean, Aaron, like, working with... I mean, that's okay. At first I thought, like, oh, she's also being brain controlled. That was my first...
right.
Because it turns out that everybody, you get a brain control, and you get a brain control, and everybody gets a brain control. Because apparently, if anything that he does to Scorpius also gets done to Pilot, so he can't kill him. I mean, I'd say chop his arms off, you know?
Who, Scorpius or
Yes.
Pilot?
I mean, no, Pilot can handle that.
Oh, yeah. Would his arms even fall off?
Yeah,
okay. No, difficult to find out. I mean, clearly not something that you necessarily want to do. But Aaron knocks him out.
Yes.
And then he wakes up. Do you recognize it?
What did he say?
It's essentially like the first time that he met Aaron on
yes.
Moya, that he woke up like on the floor of an empty cell,
Yes.
lit from above. Only this time Aaron's on the other side of the bars, and so is
Scorpius.
Yeah.
He did it, didn't he? Tagged you with the microchip.
You haven't considered the possibility that I was protecting Pilot.
The second boot to the head convinced me otherwise.
She's being very ambiguous now.
Yes.
Which I guess is sort of the central theme of this adventure, that Crichton's coming to realize just how over-focused he is on Aaron and her sort of changeable nature.
What is it with women and change?
What is it with women and change?
Yes.
And is constantly trying to like adapt, which is of course an exaggeration of how relationships work. But, I mean, it sort of draws on the obsession that he had during her absence.
With Aaron, yeah.
Yeah, when she was on Talon.
So here, when we see him talking to Scorpius, I'm like, is that like Scorpius' nose looks weird? I mean, it just looks a bit...
There's not a twig growing out of it,
no,
at least.
But like it looks like a bit hookier and pointier than normal. Like, I could just be imagining it, or I could just be like trying to look for clues in the visuals to confirm whether or not this was still in game or not.
I see what you're looking at, and I think that's because of a slightly different lens choice than usual. A wider lens, because the bars of the sort of prison doors on Moya, they're not very widely spaced.
No.
So in order to see a character's whole face, you've got to get pretty close, and that means a wider lens, and that means distorted features like noses.
It just looks a bit white and almost translucent.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I might have been over-focusing on that a little bit.
No, it's quite possible. There were ongoing experiments with the material that his
that makes sense,
prosthetic
of course,
was made out of, and then we get a butt shot.
Yeah.
Does my ass look big in these pants?
I mean, you've got to have those.
Yeah, this is a very good gif that I think a lot of people are going to
enjoy.
John sort of rolling around on the ground and showing off lefty and righty.
Yep. Scorpius gives him a knife.
Yeah.
So go for it, mate. But everything you do to me, you do to pilots. Oh, you can't touch me. And like John is really struggling with that.
Because he tries to jab the knife into Scorpius's head and sort of freezes.
Yeah.
And like,
it's like, yeah, at first I thought like, is he just like...
Reminiscent of the old days when he had the neural clone.
Getting controlled. Yeah, exactly. Gianna comes to the sound, goes like, oh, I got the game. Yep, because now in the game they can talk without Scorpius overhearing, because he hears everything.
Yeah, he has full surveillance, which is not hard. I mean,
no, not on Moya, I guess.
It's a large ship, but there are a few people.
So they devise a plan to draw Scorpius into the game.
Yeah.
And trap him there.
And so John sets bait by pinching his finger and drawing on the ground. And he draws a dick. It's very obviously a dick that he starts drawing in his blood.
But it turns out that he's written down the formulas for wormholes.
Most of this floor you should recognize. It's an equation describing the behavior of wormholes.
Aaron talks to him for a bit. He tells her to go away and summon Scorpius. Claudia Black was very happy to leave that set because the stench of tomato juice was just overpowering. Now, a pint of tomato juice goes a long way, looks like.
Okay, yeah.
Your species has brutal flair.
There's only one symbol missing. And I'm just like, pretty sure, like how important can it be? It's like...
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you should be able to figure it out from what, I don't know anything about wormholes, but, if you've got everything written out, surely it couldn't be too hard to figure out what that final symbol is.
Unless, you could try all the possibilities, but all of them could be possible.
Yeah.
And sub-ideal or wrong.
But,
and
then if you get, a scientist who has, some experience with wormholes, they can probably figure it out at that point.
It's possible. It's also possible that guessing wrong is so disastrously catastrophic that you don't want to... this is wormholes we're talking about.
Yeah.
We've seen what you can do with just some junk and 20 minutes preparations.
Yeah. So Scorpius comes into the...
You're keeping us on tempo. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, this would take forever if we didn't.
You know if you kill me...
Oh, I don't think that's going to happen, not after all you've survived. Then again, I could get lucky.
So John manages to get him closer, taunts him with the knife. Scorpius goes, oh, yes, well, are you going to try? Oh, is it going to work? Oh.
Remember, pilot.
Yeah. And John goes, well, yeah, still come alone, because otherwise I'll stab myself and spill enough blood to wipe it all out.
Yeah.
But all of it is a ruse to jam the sort of existence globule against the side of Scorpius's face.
And now Scorpius is in there with them, which doesn't go as well as he would have hoped.
I was just distracted by the fact that John's in his red and black PK jacket again.
That does look very good on him, yeah.
And Jelina's there and she's worried because, Scorpius never comes from that side.
Yes, because there was a Scorpius in the game. In the first shot, Scorpius shows up, and now he shows up from the other side. But no, Scorpius has immediate control. He is like Hackmaster 7592 lead. And just by looking at the game...
Yu-Gi-Oh! Hackmaster 479, thank you very much.
This world means nothing to me. I see through its very existence.
John!
Allow me to show you what I see.
And he sort of vaporizes Jelina.
Yeah, immediately has full control over everything.
In a swirl of wormhole equations, by the way.
Oh, that's not what it was, yes.
Yeah, same in Mind Palace. And yeah, that's big trouble for John, who I'm not entirely sure how he manages to exit. He leaves Scorpius with a thing on his face.
Yes.
Oh, no, it's Aaron who done it. Aaron.
Yes, Aaron pulls him out, yes.
Yeah.
So, which is apparently an option, which we didn't know before. He could have basically pulled Shana out all the time. In the first few, that would have been my first thought. It's like, poke it with a stick and go, yeah, that's the way. Now it's not touching.
That's your answer to everything. Poke it with a stick.
Well, no, gin is the answer to everything.
Yes, that's right.
I wonder if you die now, whether your mind will carry the wormhole knowledge with it. Into the game. Relax, John. Soon it'll be over.
Aaron gets him out and leaves Scorpius, and we must hurry before he manages to get himself free.
And she tells him,
John, I came back for you. Nothing else matters. I just want to be with you.
What did you think at this point?
Well, I mean, my suspicions were already strong towards still in the game. So I wasn't particularly. I mean, it's all a little bit too good to be true for Farscape.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, she's so sort of stone-faced and deadpan in her delivery. And you're exactly right. This is what John's realizing in this moment. Hold on. Things don't go right.
Well, that'll be your first.
Yeah, we don't. Of course, we don't have any friends.
And he reaches into his pocket.
He's fondling his balls, and he realizes.
Why are balls on your brain? You're just completely ball obsessed today. It's really weird.
So yes, because he has one of the little question balls left.
Yep, he's got a little coupon, and he runs over to Chi to show it to her and tell her we're still in the game.
Yes.
But she's not Chi.
No.
Did you have that figured out yet?
No.
Okay,
no,
good.
That one came. But yes, the door. There's another green door there. All of a sudden, which turns out to have been painted over. And now that the gimmick is up, Stark appears again.
Figured it out, have we?
First, in the guise of Scorpius,
yes,
with Stark's voice coming out of him, because Stark originally auditioned for Scorpius.
Oh, okay.
Paul Goddard.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Huh. I think it's kind of like a cute thing. You got this shot where you see John walking away from the green door, then looks at Stark, and then when he turns back to look at the door, Scorpius is painting the door green. He's wiped a bit of the green paint off, and Scorpius is like repainting the door, which is.
It was quite a good little gag. Ben had a little sponge with yellow paint between his fingers, so he was actually wiping yellow onto the door rather than wiping green off.
Yes, that makes sense.
And this is a favorite shot of mine. The hangar doors open, and the sort of
Fairy's
Fantasyland
castle is there.
Behind there, it looks amazing. I wonder if the set was actually built there now that I'm looking at it.
Or if it's a green screen effect.
Because the reflection is great.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I mean, the castle, it looked pretty CG.
Yeah, you're right.
So everything in front of the castle was real, but the castle itself looks CG. So
very good compositing then. It had some practice. So John and Chi are now returned to the game.
Yes, they're back in the behind-the-scenes room. It's now Stark who appears on the TV.
John has had enough. So he smashes the TV with a sword, goes off to Big Zan, and distracts him so that Chiana can run him over.
Yes, basically.
And then Chiana distracts Rigel so that
John can run him over. And I love John's expression. John's like, yay! I've wanted to do this for so long.
So did Tony Tilse in the director, in what wound up being Tony Tilse's last episode for Farscape.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's an end of an era. But he really, really, really wanted Rigel to be run over. But the costume department had done such a good job with his armor that there wasn't a scratch on it.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it was perfectly fine afterward.
Cool.
Where is it?
We get a gratuitous cleavage shot of Jewel.
Yeah.
Who has a bowl of beans in her stomach.
Baked beans for guts.
Yeah, Dargo is enjoying. He is being so...
Yeah, it's not even Hannibal Lecter. Like, he's so much more delectable. Yeah.
I mean...
Tammy McIntosh talked about, like, I was just going back and forth between, like... Yesterday, I was a fancy doctor on All Saints, a very renowned medical drama, and I'm just not going to think about like what this says about me, that now here I am on my back sort of orgastically groaning while I've got baked beans for guts.
We get a very interesting shot of Chana, who's like trussed up with an apple in her mouth.
Yeah. Another gratuitous butt shot.
Yes. And it takes John a few minutes to figure out that, oh, wait, the one that I've been talking to isn't the real Chana. The other one that's tied up there is the real Chana.
He asks her, what is Erin's secret? Knowing that she knows because there was a whole thing about that in the last episode.
Yeah.
Could you forget that we had that conversation?
And I thought she did such a good job. She sort of turns her head like an existence when a character is in a game loop. Because She doesn't know. The game doesn't know. There's no input.
Can't answer that, yeah.
Because even when, early when John had asked Stark, like, how did you know about Sikozu? Well, you mentioned her first.
Yeah.
So how'd you do it? Who helped?
You did. You and that tragic brother. Pouring his heart out on his deathbed.
Bull. This game has crap he couldn't know.
It's crap you gave me along the way. You talk so much.
How he knew about the pronoun, I'm not entirely sure.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, but that's possible. But he frees the real Chiana, who now has a slightly rougher tunic, and together they go back up.
There's the Chiana bashes Dargo over the head with a lollipop.
Oh yes, very good.
And they win the fight with Jewel and Dargo.
You really are John Crichton. Can I get an autograph?
And with the elevator, yes.
Whom John just apparently stabs.
I mean, you got to do it one way or the other. We've all wanted to stab an elevator.
That's just you, bud.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, sorry.
11.
Okay, I'll leave it to the internet to figure that one out. It's time for the great duel.
We have guests. I'm here for the princess.
I can see that. So romantic.
Yes, the ogre must be defeated. The princess is sitting on the bed being all coy, and she and the ogre are having like a classic... Domestic dispute, yes, I suppose so. You always drive people off. We never can have any nice people over, that kind of level of bickering.
She's so amazing. And as the fight sort of takes place, and it's Chi versus Harvey and John versus Lani, and it's sort of in split screen, and she's sitting on the bed in this like soup's frilly dress, giving color commentary.
Yes,
she's just great.
Oh, girl, I can see who wears the pants in your family. Redecorating, blood everywhere. Honey, the butler's dead.
Yes, Chiana is fighting Harvey.
Come on, Harvey, stop fighting like a girl.
And John is fighting the ogre in the guise of Lani Tupu, or the other way around, depending on how you want to look at it.
This fight scene is spectacular.
It is, and it's made very confusing because of the split screen, where you're sitting there and you're not really sure where to look.
No, and the camera does all these wild, like, upskirt angles for John in his tunic.
Yep.
It's absolutely bananas, until both of them defeat their foes. And now, all that remains is for John to kiss the princess.
Kiss the princess.
We are going to be so happy together.
Stark kind of tries to, like, throw in a little last minute, no, you can't do it, and the game will be over.
But he does it anyway, and then the game isn't over.
No.
And Stark goes, well, maybe you need to kiss her again, or maybe kiss is just a metaphor.
Oh, yes. Maybe you need to do a lot more with her, yes. Oh.
Or maybe Chiana should kiss her. Can I watch? I like to watch. He's such a creep.
Yes.
She wants to watch. Oh, no.
I mean, that is a little bit Stark. I mean, he did have that little obsession going over...
He really did.
Yeah. I mean,
actually, that's a good point.
He and Grace both get told off by Aaron in what's the episode again? The one on the Death Planet.
Yes, yes, very good. The Choice.
The Choice, yes,
very good, and savagely taken down by Aaron.
So there's a bit of that going there,
which I guess is to Stark's credit, because I mean, aside from this vision of Aaron, which is, I mean, it's not exactly a very sexualized or
no, it's more of a fairy, Disney. It's more of a Disneyfied princess, really, than a sexualized princess.
So I guess it's to his credit that maybe he's already processed that by the time that he granted this little scrape of his memories. But John has had enough. He climbs up onto the balcony, jumps down, and then, just as Chiana had said, okay, that just means the
level
the game resets to the...
Yeah, he throws his shield away again.
And this time, he approaches things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Because he shows that he actually listened to the sonnet that that Stark said, and realizing that Aaron wasn't the princess all along.
Yes, because the princess was locked away and hidden in ugliness or something like that.
One princess fair, her broken heart by ugliness enslaved.
And that wasn't like being married to an ogre.
No.
Because this was Stark's game.
Mm.
And who's Stark's princess?
Yes, Zan.
Yeah. So he finds Big Zan again.
Uh-huh.
And this time, Gives him a good slash.
Yes, Big Zahn bursts open, he
splits apart,
and from the golden light emerges.
Oh yes.
Oh, Zahn.
Is that really you, John Crichton?
How did you feel when you saw her?
I was blown. I was just like, oh my God, they actually got her to come back for this, and probably had to shave her head again because it looks.
She did not.
She did not.
This is a skull cap.
Oh, okay.
One does not.
Okay, so that explains why we don't see. We do see a sideways angle from her.
If you'll notice, well, okay, this is unkind to say, but her neck is a little thicker.
Right.
Because the skull cap has to continue to contain all
the hair. Yeah, unless you want it to bunch up, then
Right.
Okay.
Normally, one could, in a previous appearance when she had her head shaved, you could see the tendons in the back of the neck where they connect to the skull.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I noticed it, but I tell you what, until I started re-researching this episode, I had forgotten that she came back.
Oh.
So even when I told you that was the last time that we saw...
Yes, you actually were genuine in the belief that... I wasn't
messing with you.
Yes, no.
Because I just remembered Big Zahn. Right?
Yes.
Rowan Woods, who is hardcore enough to shave his head for one appearance.
I mean, for guys, I guess it's less of a thing.
Speak for yourself. Okay. I'm very proud of my little ponytail. Oof. Then again, if I got to be made up like Zahn,
I know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for any part in a TV series or movies that I would I've been looking up to or deeply involved in, I would probably go I'll shave my head for that.
I'll shave it all. What else do you want me to shave? Once I get shaving, that's...
Well, unless it's a Paul Verhoeven movie, probably not very much.
Oh, sick Starship Troopers shower scene reference there, bro. But yes, it's Zahn.
And you're...
Zahn. For all that matters.
And I guess she sort of reveals what's going on here. That Stark maintains some subconscious resentment toward John.
Yes.
With the hopefully incorrect belief that she died for the sake of John.
Yes.
That John got Stark's princess killed. And even though she is dead, this is only the memory of Zahn. That's enough to embrace John and heal this remnant of Stark.
Yes.
This Stark wishes to keep you here. He blames you.
No.
Believes I died for the love of you.
A lot of people have died because of me.
What is it that you wish of me, John Crichton? A kiss? Have you wasted my death? And the deaths of so many others?
I don't know.
Then I suggest you find out. Before anyone else dies for the love of you.
No.
She asks a very confronting question. Have you wasted my death, John?
Ah, yes. Oh.
Whoa! When he's confronted with just how much he's done and still has to do, there's a whole war brewing that he has a role to play.
Has a stake in, and Stark's just sitting there kind of watching.
Yeah, I mean he's just the game remnant.
Yeah,
and the princess kisses him. Claudia Black actually gave Ben a hard time.
She doesn't kiss like that. She puts ears to ears.
So you got that wrong, Ben. And he said, well, you didn't kiss my eyebrow either, so...
So, out of the game, for real this time. And now that you mention it, yes, now I can see it, because we get exactly the same shot of Dargo marching around through the corridor, but now he's wearing his current outfit.
Dargo!
John, where are you?
I'm not entirely sure right now.
Yes, he loved his season 4 outfit because it's a one-piece. So it's basically like a dress.
Yeah.
So it was a lot cooler than all the others that he could wear. And I think he walked around like a true Scotsman for extra ventilation. And Chiana is so glad we didn't die.
Yes.
Isn't that sad?
Apparently that was a real option. If you die in the game, you die in real life, although not usually, but this is a special situation. But yeah, I love how Chiana, she's like kind of exhausted, like almost like she's on the come down of E or something, with her hair's a little bit frazzled, and she's like, she's quite lovey-dovey towards John here.
Very cuddly. She is all over him. I guess that's the elation of another brush with death.
Yes, and John goes off to see Granny, who's working in the kitchen.
Interesting day.
They're all interesting.
She's in one of her lucid phases, which is always nice to see.
Yeah.
He's even snacking from her mise en place.
But only from the stuff that hasn't been cooked yet. Very smart, John. Don't trust the cocaine fairy.
Wasn't it the other way around? Okay, whatever. She talks to him about exactly what his last lesson was, like this realization, like he has some shit to do. There's this war brewing. It's Graze's war, not his, but he has a role to play in it, and he has a significant distraction that he's also realized.
Yes,
like he could have gotten out of this game a lot earlier if he wasn't so focused on Aaron. He could have figured out.
Yeah.
Much earlier that it was Stark's princess.
Yes.
And so she makes him an offer.
Yes, here, you got this little thing, distillate of something or the other, and it'll make you forget for a while.
He's had it before. It's Laka. It's the little monopod bug on Arnesk.
Oh, those, yes.
Squeeze the juice me's out of it and stick it up your nose. You'll get a jolt. Wham!
So he knows what it does. You take a hit and then stuff doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
For a while. And she says not to thank her.
Yeah.
And she becomes very serious because she hasn't
felt like that for someone in 150 cycles, as she says.
And is that you love someone so much, or that you hate loving someone so much, or that you...
Very difficult situation there, yeah.
The next time we see John, he's walking through the hallway, and Erin's sitting there, and she asks him, "Hey, I heard I was a princess."
And he just kind of wanders along.
Yeah.
So he took the... So, the last thing I've gotten written down is, like, did he take it? And, like, well, yes, after you see that...
Yeah.
After you see this, like, oh, yeah, no, he totally did.
Oh, it's nice to see that Farscape's back to the brutal come-downs, eh?
Yes, yeah, no, like, yeah, we have a fun, light-hearted episode with a little bit of a...
some cosplay and
just some video game stuff and a little bit of bashing each other in, and then, like, yeah, no, we can't have, like, an episode ending on an upper. No, like, that would not be Star. That would not be Farscape.
So...
She gives me a Woody.
She gives you the willies. Okay, willies first. Let's see.
There wasn't a lot of sort of willy-related imagery. I noticed. There were opportunities, but there was no, like, sausage or...
I wouldn't say there was, no.
Right.
Let's see. Hard to find a willy here.
Wow. Hey, it occurs to me that we have not explained what this segment is since we first started doing it 3 seasons ago. This is where we talk about the things that gave us the willies, as in made us a little bit sort of squeamish or whatever, or gave us a Woody.
Which we thought was great about this episode.
You know what? I'm just not going to explain it. That actually makes it worse. So your Willy for the episode.
Oh, I'm really struggling to think of something. You know,
it's a tough one, right?
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean I can't even say the plot holes because it was just a stupid video game.
Right.
You know, I cannot really think of something that really gave me the willies here.
Oh wow!
Or it might have been the baked bean bowl in Jules.
I think that's a safe bet.
That's fairly willy worthy.
Yeah. I think for me it's going to be, Chiana hog-tied with an apple in her mouth. Like, that's no fun way to spend several hours.
Yeah, which she rightfully complains about. Like, you left me here for ages.
Now, by the same token, your Woody is probably even harder. Wow.
Wow, now you're just laying it on too thick.
I know, that was on purpose.
I mean, I love that they were just like playing the greats, you know, bring back all these cute things that they were just like...
Jelena, Zan, Jewel, Scarron, Shayang.
Yeah, everything like that. The parking garage.
Parking garage at Olympic Park. Yes, all those classics.
So yes, I think I will, I think that gets my Woody.
Oh, God, that was going to be mine. Oh. I think
I was going to say we had joined Woodies before.
No, we actually have.
Yeah.
We have shared Willies and Woodies before. Well, this is becoming a really confessional podcast.
It is getting a bit.
Actually, my Woody, I guess, is going to go to Big Zan.
Oh, yes. I can see that, yeah.
Why, that was
a cool concept, even, yeah.
And it's played a little bit for laughs, but it's also played entirely straight-faced, and it's got, like, a director from Farscape, who himself has, like, stage experience.
Yeah.
He's a schooled thespian.
Ooh.
But, like, getting a boob out.
Yes.
And
well, no,
lactating-
the boob wasn't out. The boob was, like, it was discreetly covered by...
Yes, that's right. But, like, one doesn't see breastfeeding, milking, normal bodily functions. Yes, uncommon on a male-presenting person, but of course still possible. And one doesn't see that on television very often, whereas it's entirely normal. And I love Ben Browder's sort of a vision for this. Zan was the mother of the show. And so, like, what do we mammals associate with motherhood? Obviously, she's a plant, so it may work differently for her.
Guess so.
But that imagery... Stark is a mammal, looks like.
Yes.
So are we. So
let's presume so.
I actually kind of loved. No, hold on. I've just scrolled down to Anthony Simcoe having the most fun of all of them, beating I think even Tammy McIntosh.
Oh,
he's just having so much fun.
Doing what?
Okay, what are you doing here? You are disturbing my meal.
All of it.
Oh, okay, just him having fun. Sorry,
Sorry, in his costumes and the lollipop and just dining on everything. Yes, and then he gets really serious when he's got his normal clothes on again.
Make these weird faces and it's like little eye rolls and tongue pokes. That's absolutely.
And that's the story so Farscape.
Yes, please join us next week for another Tales of the Uncharted Territory, and the week after that with episode 408, I Shrink, Therefore I Am.
Yay!
In which John Crichton and Naranti return to Moya to find the crew in the hands of bounty hunters. Crichton must team up with Scorpius to fight them off before the Scarrans arrive.
That sounds good, right?
Yes, it does.
These synopses are usually careful that they don't give away too much, but this one felt like the kind of thing where you kind of want to see a trailer for that because that's kind of... Oh, yeah, speaking of trailers, can you believe that when Sci-Fi Channel aired a trailer for this episode that we just watched, they gave away the fact that Virginia Hay returns?
Oh, well, maybe they wanted to draw people back in.
That's what they did, but that's not what the makers wanted. They even kept her name out of the credits at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Just to keep it a secret.
A secret for as long as possible, yes. Now, weren't you going to show me a clip or something at the end?
I was just about to do the transition.
Okay, sorry. I was just like, we're right at the end of the show, and I was like...
I know. Now, speaking of trailers, there you go. That's the transitional material.
All right.
Ready. I got in touch with someone who's been listening to our podcast called Mark Nixon, who runs a podcast called Shadows at the Door, which is a sort of scary storytelling podcast, but it's delightfully produced. It's queer run. It's absolutely wonderful. I listened to some of the episodes. They have a mini series based on Dorian Gray recently. That's really, really excellent.
Yeah.
And normally we don't really do sort of cross promotions or plugs because that involves dealing with real people who are much better at business stuff, and I find that very scary.
Yes.
But he gave me this wonderful news that Shadows at the Door. Allow me to read this. Shadows at the Door is an anthology audio drama podcast specializing in atmospheric, pleasing terrors. These are full cast audio dramas with immersive sound effects and original music. In each episode, the story is followed by spirited debate between hosts Mark Nixon and David Alt. Produced in the north of England, proudly queer run, they have 2 seasons and a very gay mini-series to enjoy, with their 3rd and most ambitious season slated for spring 2023, which you can subscribe for to catch the new episodes as they air. And one of those episodes, called The Case of Reese Harrison, a fictional true crime podcaster investigates a series of unsolved assaults in New South Wales, Australia, where he soon finds a supernatural culprit. A retired detective inspector, Cohen Grant, played by is interviewed throughout the episode and even releases his own private footage of what happened when he was protecting a target, whose name is kept secret as well.
Okay.
And this episode has an all Aussie and Kiwi cast with the exception of the fictional podcaster. Let's listen to a clip right now and see if we recognise one of these Aussie or Kiwi actors, shall we?
Yeah.
At 9:54 p.m, following a light flickering and then going off at Ava's address, a crash was heard. Detective Grant began recording the video on his phone, attaching it to his uniform as he'd prepared, and rushed toward the scene. This is the first time this footage has been released to the public.
1026, this is 1 Alpha 3 responding to a possible 101 in progress. Assistance required.
Good police practice is not to attend a Code 10, a serious assault, alone. But Grant was determined. He was armed, and over a long career, he'd been in many dangerous situations.
Police! Police here! Shit! Police! Where are you? Reese! It's the police! If you're here, get down now! Leave the girl alone! Reese! Jack! Whatever you're calling yourself, come out where I can see you! Hands on your head! Reese! Whatever you are! On the ground! Now!
Grant's phone was damaged as he was tackled by, well, something out of the window.
Wasn't that amazing?
That was fantastic.
It's a free podcast. Anyone can download it. I can... Believe you me, I will be downloading quite a lot of it because this is absolutely fantastic. Some recognizable names may be showing up in the coming season. I've been told it's still quite a secret. Yes, yeah. I mean, you know, these are some of them are. I just keep inhaling and trying to sort of
talk. Yes, it works the other way around.
The other way around works indeed better. I'm very excited to find out what he's got in store for us and to hear Lani Tupu appear on. So that's Shadows at the Door, wherever podcasts are found. And please do enjoy. Thank you so much for getting in touch with us, Mark, because this was really fantastic, and a fantastic way also to sort of close out this episode because I mean we got to see Lani again.
Yes.
So. Okay, let me see if I remember how to do this. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook at sofarscape.com. I practiced.
Yes.
Okay, I was going.
I'm
this
sure
is going to be
you've
the
done
one
it like close to 80 times at this point.
Okay. You can find us at sofarscape.com or at sofarscape on Twitter and Facebook, and we'd
get your podcast from wherever you want, your favorite podcasting service.
Synopsis at sofarscape.com/submit and sofarscape.com/links. Okay, I'm just going to print it out next time and do it. I'm Kaki.
I'm Kay.
Sofarscape, so good.